Hi, welcome back to Jen's Jungle. I'm here with lovely Nephi today. Say hello, Nephi. Woo! So it's been nearly a year since I rescued my Egyptian street cat, Nefi. So I thought it'd be nice to do a bit of an adoption vlog. So in September 2024, I visited Egypt for the first time, and I'd wanted to go to Egypt since being a little kid. I absolutely loved the history of the place and everything, and this was really a dream come true to come and visit. So I spent 10 days, and it was absolutely incredible. But one thing that I did really notice was the number of stray dogs and cats there were there. They were absolutely everywhere, especially the cats. They were at all the main sites, the Great Pyramids, the temples, the tombs. There were cats everywhere at all the hotels. There were also cats. When we stayed at hotels with the buffet breakfast, despite being a vegetarian, I'd get sausages off the buffet to feed to the cats. I'm sure you're not meant to feed the cats, but you just couldn't resist, especially because some quite evidently had just had kittens or were pregnant. You felt like you had to do something for them. So I was quite shocked by just how many cats there were. And even when I came home, I still was thinking about the cats out there. And I started looking into, are there any shelters or charities which are helping the cats out there? And I came across Zee Animal Rescue. Now, Zee Animal Rescue is a shelter that is based near Cairo, and they do incredible work. They save hundreds of cats and dogs. They take cats and dogs in such terrible conditions, and they do the very best they can for them, getting them vet care, feeding them up. But unfortunately, they are a small rescue with limited resources, and the needs these animals have vastly outstrip the rescue's resources. Do check the rescue out. I will add a link down below. You can sponsor a cat over there. It's only £20 a month to sponsor a cat over there. If it's a new cat, you do also get to name them. So you can sponsor a cat, or you can just make a small donation. Any donation is appreciated, or just give a like to their Facebook page or Instagram page to get the knowledge of this place out there. So I found the shelter and started following their work. And after a little while, I came across Nefi. So Nefi was found as a starving kitten in an abandoned stairwell in Cairo. When she was first taken to the shelter, she was skin and bones. She was absolutely starving. It's unlikely she would have survived for long on the streets. So the shelter took her in, fed her up a little bit, got her new children vaccinated, and then it was time to look for her new home. So Zee Animal Shelter mainly adopts abroad, so UK, USA, the rest of Europe. This is where they really focus their adoptions on. And the adoption process was amazing. I got in touch with the lady who runs it. They put me in touch with a local person to help navigate the adoption. The only fees were really the fees to cover the flight and the resources there. So they were absolutely incredible. They organised absolutely everything. I got in touch with the main person who put me in touch with someone local, and I got added to a group of all the cats that were coming over in that batch. We had all the details sent to us. The flight did get delayed a couple of times, but this isn't uncommon because there's so much involved in getting these cats over here. But we were kept up to date the entire time. It was really incredible. And soon enough, the cats did get onto a flight. And I spent the entire day tracking this flight. I had so much to do that day, but I just couldn't help but keep looking at where this flight was. I was literally watching this flight come across to the UK. I was so excited. We were told when the flight had landed, and then we were kept up to date as the cats got through customs. They obviously have to go through animal control. We were kept up to date throughout that, and then they were collected by someone this side of Heathrow. And then we get a live update of where the van full of cats is. And someone literally dropped her off at my door for me. I was following the van from when it left Heathrow, and from when it was sort of 10 minutes away from my place. I was like, looking out the window, and then I got so excited when I saw it was only a few streets away, and I went and stood on the street corner. See this van come along. They parked up, and there was my lovely little cat. It was such a lovely moment. She had all her paperwork with her, and then it was time to bring her home. So this is the setup I had for her. I was keeping her in a separate room for a few days, just while she acclimatizes. So we had a little tray, some food bowls, a little cute scratcher. I think this is adorable, and a random snake toy. And finally, I've got a use for these bowls I bought like years ago, but I've never used. I just think they're super cute, so she can enjoy using them. A little tunnel for play or hide, whatever she fancies. And then the bed itself, full of baskets and toys, so she's nice and cozy. And here she finally was. She came very nice and secure in her transport carrier, which was good to see, and I was really eager to actually meet her. They padlocked her in, but I had the keys, which was grand, and she was right out. I was really unsure of how she was going to be when she first came out, whether she would just go and hide or stay in the carrier, but she wanted attention straight away. She was so loving. It was a really special moment. I'm just taking it nice and slow, giving her some nice little pets and letting her lead the way. Here you can see she is a bit timid, but still wants more fuss. I can't hear it here, but she is purring her head off. Even within a few minutes, you can see that she's getting more confident, coming over for fuss. Just very much letting her lead the way, letting her explore when she wants to, and then come back from fuss. I think she goes and explores and then comes back for a bit of reassurance, which is just so sweet. But she's such an inquisitive little girl. I'm also just having a little feel for her, having a little look at her fur, just making that she's okay health-wise. So it's obviously checked by customs when she came into Heathrow, but I like having a little look myself. I will get her checked out by a vet in the next few weeks, just as a little health check. But she seems lovely and healthy, and her fur is so super soft and seems in great condition. I think I was just really shocked by how friendly she was straight away. I kind of expected her to come out and hide or not come out at all, that she'd want a bit of space, but she just loved the fuss and even started trying to follow me out the room. But she had had a long journey, so I did want to get her some food and water. I'm just giving her some tuna here. She's been on a bit of a mixed diet at the shelter. They very much just get the food they can because they've got so many to look after. And obviously she's had a long journey, so I wanted to give her something relatively plain. So a bit of tuna seemed to fit the bill, and she just gobbled this down. It was cute. When I walked off, she tried to follow me, so I sat with her for a little bit. Also gave me a chance to have a little look at her. And whilst I sat with her, she just ate every little bit of it. Now here I am just taking the paperwork off the carrier. It's got all her vaccination details in and her microchip details. And then, of course, we needed a bit more fuss. I did try playing with her a little bit, which she was kind of interested in, but really she just seemed to want fuss. I think I am so lucky to have gotten this little girl. I am so grateful to Zee Animal Shelter. They do such incredible work. Here she is. She spotted the tuna can on the side. I didn't want to give her too much all at once, just to not upset her tummy, but I thought she could have a bit more, and she wanted to lick the can, which was fine by me. making sure she gets every little bit of it. And then it was time to settle down and say goodnight. I found it quite hard leaving her alone for the first night. I wanted to spend the night with her, but I thought it was important she had some space, and I also didn't want my other cats getting jealous because they're used to sleeping with me. So she had her own space for the night. But we had lots of bedtime fuss beforehand. And of course, I kept an eye on her throughout the night. We had a camera set up so I could see exactly what she was doing. And she did eventually settle down to sleep. And she seemed to do really well on her first night. So yeah, it was really incredible to find her. And the process of adopting her was so amazing. The shelter could not have been better to work with. And they literally hand-delivered me a cat from Egypt to my door. Really incredible. So yeah, that's how I adopted an Egyptian street cat. I'm going to try and do another video about our first year together. So please hit that subscribe button. Give us a like, drop a comment, all of that stuff. It really helps us out. But most of all, please check out the shelter below. And if you can support them in any way, that would be absolutely incredible. I am so grateful to Zee Animal Shelter for giving me this amazing little girl. The love of an Egyptian street cat is really special. She is such a special girl, and I'm absolutely in love with her. So subscribe to follow our journey.